Welcome to the Crunch, the only podcast that's both good and plenty.
I know it hurts. I'm sorry. All right, you came to the right place, you ding dong. It's called communication, baby.
Welcome to Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner, the only dating podcast that has good advice. It's your boy, Ethan Wright.
And I am Nurse Patrick. Ethan, I had such a good idea.
No, you didn't.
We gotta do you be the judge of that. We gotta do a Dr. Ethan's desk guide. Like Dr. Ethan's desk manual. Like it's
what is a desk
diagnostic tool. We do a dating book, but it's Dr. Ethan, all right? And it's like a desk guide like doctors would have on their
you want to make
tables.
Dr. Ethan's declassified dating survival guide.
Yeah. And make it look like a little composition notebook.
Yeah.
And then I think that'd be really funny.
I would love to. I think it's a good idea. Do you think?
Remember back in like the mid 2000s when every YouTuber came out with like a glossy hardcover like book? You know, every YouTuber came out with a book. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that. When in the mid 2000s, I was playing PlayStation 2. I was playing Crash Nitro Kart.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, you were. What does it say that? Like I'm some kind of.
You're a PlayStation 2 Burger King Universal Studios kid. I was Cartoon Network kid. I was definitely a Nintendo, McDonald's, Disney Channel, Disney World kid.
Yeah. And then you have the Xbox, Taco Bell, Six Flags kid.
Yeah.
He's in his own. Those are the guys that bullied
Nickelodeon.
Us.
He's shoving crayons up his nose.
Yeah.
And he's like talking in adult themes because he watched too much Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
Kind of weirdly into feet.
I never ever. I've been to Burger King, I think maybe twice in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Once when I needed a meatless meal on a Friday, and so I stopped at a Burger King. So I was so hungry. I was in the middle of nowhere.
You stopped
I got an Impossible
burger in the name.
No, I got an Impossible Burger. And then another time, I think I had been drinking, and there was a Burger King next to the bar district in Manhattan. And so I went there and I got some chicken fries.
Chicken fries.
Chicken fries. But first of all, how dare you insinuate that I would be that I can be defined by the art that I consume? That offends me deeply as an American.
Nah, dude.
And not at all as a liberal.
Tell me that I'm wrong about Crash Nitro being the Burger King of Mario Kart.
Yeah, well, the problem is that Crash Nitro Kart is already the Burger King of the Crash racing games because Crash Team Racing was much more successful and well received. So Crash Nitro Kart is like the off-brand version of the already successful Crash Team Racing.
It's like the Mario Kart Double Dash of the Crash Nitro franchise.
Exactly. It's there's not even a comparison. It's like one of those off-brand. It's like was there ever a Nickelodeon kart game? Like, did they ever do that?
Oh, it was probably like a SpongeBob kart game.
There was
probably something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Nicktoons.
Nicktoons. I've heard of those. So I've been in the streets for a long time, and you don't understand that. Yeah.
You've been crashing.
I've been huffing nitro. I would do that.
Do you remember when McDonald's gave out like little mini video games?
You remember when McDonald's gave a bunch of whippets to kids and they were all getting high in the parking lot? Those are great Happy Meals.
Do you remember that?
Man.
Do you remember when they had like the Sonic the Hedgehog, like little mini video games and the Happy Meals?
Yeah, those were fun.
Dude, those were crazy. Now they just give kids junk.
I know. The best toy.
Not that those things weren't also junk.
Yeah, I've probably talked about this on the podcast before, but the best toy on the planet was was when the Kim Possible movie came out, and it was Ron Stoppable, and he shot the gun, and it took his pants off with him when he shot the gun.
Dude, you are Ron Stoppable.
Okay, let's move on. I'm not gonna be called a Burger King guy and Ron Stoppable in the same podcast.
Hey, Ethan, if you tell me honestly without lying, you've never been called Ron Stoppable before, I will Venmo you $1,000. That's what I thought. Right. Let's move on to the questions.
I don't like getting bullied in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Listen. For some reason, I get Ed Sheeran all the time. Time.
You are actually, and I don't say this lightly, you are better looking than Ed Sheeran.
Thank you.
And also you don't have red hair, and also he doesn't wear glasses. And like your whole thing is you wear these big, you look like the guy from Rocket Power. You always have. That's the only good comparison to you.
Yes, I look like the kid from Rocket Power, and when I'm old, I will look like the grandpa from Up.
Yes, because that's what your dad looks like.
That's what my dad looks like.
Yeah, you look like Sammy Dullard, and you always have. So, what can we say? We're doing a lot of old school cartoon throwbacks this week.
I look like Chris from Family Guy.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
I had to do some work to not look like Chris from Family Guy. All right.
Let's do some dating questions. So this is a podcast where we answer your dating questions. You write them in. You go to bit.ly/crunch Discord. That's the link to join our Discord community. Mm-hmm. We have, as of this recording, let me see, 676 people in our Discord community. Comments are flying. They're cooking eggs in the boys are going crazy about the eggs. So if you enjoy cooking eggs, that's a thing that's happening right now.
Dudes just getting together making eggs. I love it.
Guys just love to cook an egg.
Guys really do just get together.
But it's the place to be, and we have a whole channel in the Discord dedicated to your dating problems. So we got people talking about their crushes. We got people talking about their relationships. We got people talking about should I ask
their friends' crushes and their friends' relationships.
And if you ask a question in that Discord channel, you can have us answer it live right here on this podcast.
Ben will put it in a secret channel that only we have access to, and then we will read it live on the show. And then he will put emojis that tell us what episode we put it on.
And here's the first question.
Here's the first question. Oh, wait, we got to talk about the break. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, we're going on a break for the next 2 months. We're going to be releasing old episodes from our catalog, some of our hits. So if you've wanted to introduce a friend to the podcast for a long time, now is the time to get them into the podcast. And for the 2-month break, the bonus podcast, which we're going to be doing new bonus podcasts, will only be releasing our Friday bonus episode. It is open to everyone at the $5 tier or higher. So if you have been
normally $10 a month,
normally $10. So we're doing a 50% off for the next 2 months. You can listen for $5. You can listen to all of the episodes we've done in 2 months. I don't care if you listen to all of them. I will forgive you. And then if you like the show, try it out. You like, boom, got to bump up $10. That's fine. It's only a little more. And then you can listen to it for the rest of the time and you have a great time. So if you're missing that free content, if you're missing the new content, you can get some new content for $5 a month. That's just $10 over the course of the break. But if not, we'll be playing our hits. We're gonna be putting Kadir John in the feed.
Ooh, people love
that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one.
And if you want to hear some more thoughts about our
2 beef jerky sticks deep in the Mystique,
it's a good one. If you want to hear our thoughts about this, you can listen to Sunday's episode. So if you just go back one in the RSS feed, we do quite a bit longer on the break and what we're trying to achieve. So if you're curious, go check that out. But now let's answer some dating questions. I don't care about
dating questions.
No more administrative nonsense.
None of that nonsense. All right, this one's a long one, so I'm gonna work through it. I do like the long ones because there's some editorializing that goes on.
A lot of detail.
At my Catholic center, so this is a Catholic student center, college student center. There was this girl I started developing a crush on.
All right, man.
At this point, when I realized it, I told my best friend about it and my hesitancy. He told me with enthusiasm to go for it, so I did. One night after dropping her off from church, I asked her out. She said yes. We went on 3 dates, both making it clear we're not dating. We're just on dates. Things were going well. We were having later nights at the center together, going for walks, cute stuff, etc. Then, after our 3rd date, we met by the lake for a talk. Here, we both realized and confessed that although we were spending a lot of time together, it wasn't time that could develop towards a relationship because we were both, for whatever reason, way too awkward and emotionally closed off during the date. We came to the conclusion we should try one more date, with no holding back. You could see how we interacted truthfully.
They're just completely naked. They're screaming at the top of their lungs.
Well, it's a third date, so
yeah, so might as well.
That's what I've been told.
Indeed.
Holding back, we came to the conclusion we tried that. Okay. However, the day before the date, she calls me outside right before we have our group rosary. There, she calls the whole thing off and tells me that she isn't being fair with me and she thinks it's best not to do a fourth date. Sucks. That's what it is. Fast forward a week. I finally start to move on, even make an appearance at her recital, which ends with an awkward photo hug after me and he's hover handing. You know, you're never going to live it down.
I've been there. It's hard.
After me and some guys are chilling, just talking, one makes a comment, says, "Hey, my
So the question asker's best friend.
Yeah.
Are you
Hey, my best friend, are you and this girl dating? The girl that he's talking about. So his best friend, let's call him.
So he's talking to. So one of the guys asked question asker's best friend, "Are you and the girl we've been talking about dating?" So not question asker. He's talking about the best friend.
Oh, okay. So another person says, "Hey."
So there's a third friend asking the question asker's best friend if he's dating girl in question.
Okay, yeah. So the girl, Guinevere, the question asker, Arthur.
Can we name her? Can we name her something a bit cooler? Can we give her a cool name?
No, I'm doing a bit. I'm doing a bit because it seems like the best friend is trying to Lancelot this chick.
But we've done Guinevere and Lancelot on the pod before.
Have we?
Yes.
Man, our dudes need to stop getting their girls snagged.
I know. I think that would cause a lot of less. The girl's name is Margot.
Margot.
And the question asker's name is Mark. And the best friend's name is Marvin.
These are all too phonetically similar.
No, but it's easy because it's Marvin Margot. So it's just you just have to remember. You don't have to remember the first part of the name. You just have to remember the last part of the name. I've just saved you.
So we got Go, we got Vin, and we got.
Yes,
it's all you got to remember. So Mark.
So
someone goes, "Hey, Marvin, are you and Margot dating?" And Mark says, "Ha ha, no way is he dating her. Last I remember, he's discerning." He awkwardly chuckles. Not a good sign. Later that night, Marvin says he wants to talk. I, a fool, think nothing of it. We meet somewhere quiet to talk. Important background information. Like a month before I asked Margot out, she was confused with my best friend, Marvin, and asked if Marvin liked Margot. Marvin said, "No, I'm discerning, and maybe we should spend less time together so you don't think that." Back to this convo. I like when they do flashbacks.
Yeah, this is nice.
He then tells me, Marvin, I'm sorry. Recently, even when I try to avoid it, me and Margot have been talking more and more. We both started to like each other. I didn't know what to do. I got angry with him a bit and then left. Following the advice of my priest and trying to follow Jesus, I thought it best to forgive them, even though I felt wrong. However, I did tell him that in no uncertain terms, I did not want to have any conversation with him or her unless I initiated it, and I did not plan on it. Oh, dude, you are so hard.
That's
love you.
Electric.
I love you.
Awesome.
You don't need our advice.
I don't want to have any conversation with you unless I initiate it. Good day. Bam. I love it.
The problem was I had grown extremely close with both of them, particularly with him over the previous year. Now I'm struggling with understanding if I did the right thing. Should I try to move on and continue being friends with them, or is it best that I forget them and move on? I obviously won't date this girl ever, but is this reason enough to throw away what I thought was a good friendship?
Dang.
Great. Dude, I hate this. I hate this so much. You did not deserve this.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Hey, if you're a lady and you think this guy deserves a little kiss,
little smooch on the nose,
why don't you DM him? Find him in the Discord. See if you can fish for him.
Find Mark. Dude, your friend should not have said to go for it. You know, like you came to him. Like, I'm hesitant about this. That was his opportunity to say, "Yeah, I really like her and I've been talking a lot lately." So, sucks that you have the crush, but I'm thinking about asking her out, soon. And if that doesn't go well, then yeah, you ask her out. But I really like her and I want to ask her out. It's like, okay, that was your chance to say that, but instead he said, "Go for it." And the problem is like, it was only a week between when the fourth date was supposed to happen and when this thing happened. So in that week, did the best friend and Margot just all of a sudden hit it off. Like, so that to me, that means that something was percolating in the background while they were going on dates. Margot and Mark were going on dates. Marvin was lurking like Kendall Roy on stage in season 3. Anyway, doesn't matter. If you know, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it.
I don't, but yeah,
Succession. It's a great program.
Succession.
So that's
it's about a family on a plantation in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's the exact same plot, exact same characters. Instead of a multi-billion media company, it's just a plantation with slaves.
It's just really sad.
I know, it is sad. Great program though, I bet. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. So your question, I mean, if you want to talk to your friend about how it's like, dude, I hate this. Oh, this makes me so mad when these little, I'm not gonna call them what I want to call them, but should I say it?
It's the archetype. It's the archetype that I'm discerning archetype.
Ooh, I'm discerning.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna. Can I chat with you? Can I say comments? Private chat. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Ethan is typing to me what he wants to say. It's all one word. I think you can say it if it's all one word.
You think I can if I separate out the words?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
I don't think I can say this if I separate out the words.
It sucks because it's like it's pseudo. It's like it's, you know what? Honestly, calling someone that I think is totally fine because it's if you have a dirty mind, it refers to a body part. But if you just think of it like it's a scaredy cat, it makes so much more sense. Now you understand what we're trying to say.
This guy's a pussy boy. That's what he is.
All one word.
All one word. Not a
family-friendly podcast. Yeah, no, that's totally it. Oh, you should go for it. No, tell your friend.
You should go for it. I'm no threat because I'm discerning the priesthood. Dude,
hold on.
Insane behavior.
He said that. He said, I must have missed that. So he mentioned the discernment.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I wanted to go. I'm sorry. I'm going back, but I told my best friend with hesitancy. He told me to go for it. No, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm no threat. I'm discerning." The other guy, the question asker said,
"Question asker says, last I remember, he's discerning because when it gets brought up in the group."
Yeah, I don't know. He might not have been discerning.
Yeah, he was discerning whether or not to step in on your action. That's what he was discerning.
I hate that.
It makes me so mad because it's there's a certain type of Catholic guy that is just so weak and limp-wristed that they just need to be put into a cannon and shot into into a place where they can deal with the consequences of their actions. Because for whatever reason, this type of behavior is like rewarded, or else guys wouldn't act this way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Guys are able to hide behind, especially in like college and high school. They're able to hide behind this faux religiosity, this faux piety that lets down a woman's defenses and then enables her to fall for him, which is really what he wants. At the end of the day, it's manipulative, and it's just really frustrating to see this happening over and over again, where a guy will use the language of, "Oh, I am discerning," or "I've thought about the priesthood," or "I want to go to seminary," or whatever, not as like a legitimate, like, "I've thought about this and I'm going to keep thinking about this, you know, and then if an opportunity comes up to date, I'll take it. But like, this is, something I've thought about," but like the very serious, like, "I'm discerning the priesthood right now." And then like having these like late night conversations with these girls about their faith and about God. It's like, they know what they're doing. And it drives me up the wall because good, well-intentioned, honest men, like the guy who asked this question, gets left out in the cold. And it's not his fault. It's because another guy came in and used something that is more attractive to women, which is this kind of emotional and spiritual vulnerability. And I'm not saying that the woman was weak-minded or that, it's her fault in any way, but it's just like, he knew exactly how to manipulate the situation to get what he wanted. And you kind of got left in the dust based on what you've told us. So yes, I think you're
someone
correct.
Who can see right through it. Someone who can see right through it goes like, "Hey, Marvin, are you and Margot dating?" And it's like, No, totally not. And it's like the guy's like obvious, like you guys are sitting next to each other, and his best friend, quote unquote, thinks that he's still discerning, but he's obviously behaving in such a way that would imply that he has feelings for this girl. And I don't know how he was like, oh, I've gotten so close to him over the past year. I don't know if this man, I gotta be honest with you, I don't know if this is your best friend.
No.
Like I don't think this is your best friend. You might be really good friends right now in college, but I don't know how good of a friend this guy is.
Yeah. Like if I have people who are very good friends of mine who desire my best interest, like beyond what is reasonable, like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like there are men in my life who've been in my life for a long time that will go out of their way to the point of like ridiculous inconvenience because they love me and they care about me. I don't always do the same for them. I wish that I did more often, but like that's the type of person that is your best friend, and this guy doing what he did,
Isn't it?
it just isn't it. I think you are correct in cutting off contact. I don't think
Super, yeah.
I think it's whack to. I've been in situations like this where someone you thought was your friend reveals that they're actually not your friend, and I think going no contact is a great solution. It hurts in the immediate because then there's this like hole in your life where like that person occupied, and there might be fallout from that, like other friends that were kind of in that friend group where like you might not see them as much, or it might be awkward and weird because they're still friends with the person and you're not really friends with the person anymore. But it's like ultimately way better to just go this way than to try and
so
like
much better for you.
Try and like forgive, like you can forgive him, but you don't need to invite him back into your life in an intimate way. Like forgiveness is something that you do like on your own. Like you forgive him and then you can start to move on. Like you don't need to be his friend in order to truly forgive him. So that's what I would encourage.
I keep looking at the chat. It's just
what does the chat say?
Me
chatting.
I want to call him. That's what I want to call
so
him.
Mad, dude. It makes me mad. That stuff is so frustrating.
Why does it make you so mad? Why does it make you so mad, Ethan?
Well, because I don't know if there's an underlying thing per se, but I think it's hard to hear these guys.
You've seen it happen too many times.
I have. Okay, maybe I have seen it happen to me, but it's this. I think the thing that frustrates me so much is just the lack of straightforwardness. Like, if you like this girl, ask her out, take her out.
Which he did. Question Asker did.
But instead what you've done is you've created a world in which you can ingratiate yourself into a group of women or a group of friends as a non-romantic threat. And then because you've established yourself as that as the baseline, then it's so much easier for you to flip the switch whenever you've prepped the soil enough to then say, I actually really like you. And then all the groundwork has been laid because you went in through the back door, as it were, and it's like, it just feels to me to be less honorable a way to go about meeting women and developing relationships with them.
It is more of it is a passive way.
Yeah.
It's how socially we expect women to find romantic partners. Meeting someone, waiting for the right fit, hoping that they ask you out, hoping the situation, maybe being a little more active, right? Like that's how a lot of women go about meeting a guy. And we just don't expect men to act that way because it's like you need to be able to be decisive. You need to be able to make calls and make decisions and make decisions that kind of put you out there. But like being, first of all, making sure everyone knows you're discerning while very clearly internally pursuing a woman and not doing is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just silly.
It's cowardly.
That's silly pants behavior.
So there might be details that we're missing and maybe we're too hard on him, but
there are probably details we're missing.
I think on the whole, this type of behavior happens a lot, and I think it should be strongly discouraged when it comes up. So
yes,
that's all.
So if you're listening to this, guy who was starting the priesthood and is now dating Margot, just if you don't think this applies to you, that's fine. This is an archetype that we see often. Is the passive, I'm discerning guy / like I'm a non, we're just friends.
Or not even I'm discerning, but like I'm like the Lord doesn't want me to date right now, like that type of thing. Like trying to use spiritual language to set yourself up as a non-romantic threat so that women accept you into their social circles so that you can then backdoor your way into a relationship is just, it's a strategy. I'm not going to knock the strategy, but
it certainly works.
But this is not war. We're not trying to out strategize the enemy, like
we're not trying to, it is the art of war. That's like Sun Tzu is like, get your opponent to underestimate you.
Yes.
That's exact. And it's like, it seems passive, but it's super manipulative and it's more aggressive.
I think the other thing too is like, if you stated that your state in life is I'm not dating right now, but you're secretly trying to date someone, then what happens when you say like, oh, I'm dating this girl right now? Like what does that mean about that statement, about that point in their life?
It means what it means your word means nothing. Yeah.
It means way less. So that just we've talked too much about it.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good question to dive deeper on. This next one's really short. So not really a dating question, but it feels.
Don't you know the name of the podcast? What do you mean? Not really a dating question. Get it together.
This is Dr. Not Really Ethan's Dating Corner. Dr. Ethan's Not Really Dating Corner. Not really dating question. It feels like it kind of fits. My boyfriend's best friend is getting married next year. Whoa. Good for him. My boyfriend will probably be asked to be the best man. However, my boyfriend's best friend is an atheist, but is a baptized Catholic. All right. Will be getting married outside of the church to another atheist. Is it a scandal to attend this wedding? Would it be a scandal for my boyfriend to be the best man in this wedding? Ethan.
Yeah, it probably is scandalous. This is a hard one.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's no good answer here. If you want to go by the book, then it's like, yeah, you shouldn't go. It would be scandalous. You cannot support a baptized Catholic who has an obligation to be married in the church, getting married outside the church.
Because it's not a marriage.
Because it's not a marriage. Right. On the other hand, if like you're good enough friends with someone that they want you to be the best man, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you what to do here. Like, I don't think
that specific situation, it might be a really great idea for you to say, Larry, I love you and I want to be your best man. But I firmly believe that we as Catholics have an obligation to be married in the church.
Yeah.
And so I cannot attend your marriage because it is not a marriage. And that might shock him into repenting and returning to the church, seeing your fidelity.
Yeah.
Or it might just push him further away. But you can't really go by consequentialism, right? That's not really.
You can't, but at the same time, you got to think like, okay, this guy's an atheist. He's operating on a completely different playing field, like, so what is marriage to the atheist, right? Marriage is a public commitment to this one person that can be ended at any time by divorce. So I think he would, I think if you said it, right, it's already not a marriage. That's what I mean. So it's like, if what the atheists believe to be marriage is not actually marriage, and they're just calling it marriage, are you under the same obligation? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if they thought that what they were doing was marriage.
Yeah.
But they're not. And so it's like, it's difficult for me to say, yeah, 100% don't go, or yeah, 100% go. I think it's very situation based, but it's difficult for me to say like, okay, we are Catholics. We have a worldview that is very specific. An atheist has a worldview that's very specific. It's kind of insane for you to bring your worldview that's so far away from this guy's worldview, because it's just such a shift. It's like you're continents away from each other. And so it's like, I think about St. Paul, to the Jews, I was a Jew, to the Greeks, I was a Greek, to the whatever, I was a whatever. It's like St. Paul understood that he couldn't just be a Christian, like he had to understand and preach to the cultures of the people that, which might have meant that he had to go to some illicit temple worship services to like meet people and talk to people. He might have had to go to pagan ceremonies where it wasn't even Jewish, it was like way further down the line. So it's like, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to this. I don't think there really is a good answer to this, especially when it's something like a bet. It's easy when you've just been invited to be in the congregation. You RSVP no and you move on. But when someone asks you to be a best man, that's like hey, you've been a really important part of my life up to this point. I'd like you to continue being an important part of my life moving forward, type question. So I don't know. What do you think?
I probably wouldn't do it.
Why?
I think it's acting in a public way that's just not consistent. It would just the best man piece of it is like you're signing the paper. You're like signing a document that's saying,
sure,
I watched these two people get married. And it's just, it doesn't matter what they think is happening. It's like what I'm telling the government is I watched a wedding, right? And that's just not what I did. And so like that part of it is tough. I had a problem telling the bishop that the kids that I was presenting for confirmation were catechized. I had to he's like, are these people ready to be confirmed? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that, like signing a piece of paper that says these guys.
Yeah.
I would have trouble. I would. But like
what about the tax collectors and the prostitutes?
Yeah, it's like I get where you're coming from, but it's like this is there's an element here that's a little different. It's like I am saying things that are not true,
Right. But
I think
the Samaritan woman said things that were not true. She did not believe things that were true, No.
I think he's doing the tax collector and prostitute thing by being best friends with a guy who's a former Catholic and is a current atheist. Like he's doing that, right? But it's like Jesus didn't go with the tax collector to collect taxes and skim off the top.
Okay, that's true. He probably didn't skim off.
Like he wasn't taking names and being like, oh, who's next? Oh, James, son of Timonius. Oh yeah, you owe like 30 shekels. Like he wasn't participating in it.
Sure.
And it's like being in the wedding party is a pretty, like what you said with RSVP to the congregation, you just check no and move on. Like if that's what you would do for the congregation, it's a higher social cost for doing that if you're in the wedding party. But it's like if you wouldn't even be in the congregation, why would you be in the wedding party?
Yeah, because I think there is a relationship outside of this event. So it's like,
I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I get invited to be a best man, I'm not just getting invited to someone's wedding. That's someone saying to me, our relationship is so important. I want you to be the closest person to me other than my bride at this event.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so yes, there is obviously a higher social cost to say no. And I get your logic, but like, the person in 34 rows back that like went to elementary school with them doesn't have that same relationship with them. And so, I agree with you.
I mean, you asked what I would do in a hypothetical. That's just me.
Right. That's the thing.
I've never been in this situation.
It's really easy to be in a hypothetical and say, you should never go. Catholics should never, be at a ceremony that calls something marriage that's not marriage, because that's the official stance of the church. But like, I don't think you're going to go to hell if you go. And I actually,
no, definitely not.
And I actually don't think that you will cause the sin of scandal by going, because nobody knows what the church teaches about marriage anyway.
My problem is not about the sin of scandal.
Okay, what's your problem?
My issue is the perjury.
Yeah,
I have more of an issue with the perjury than the scandal.
Okay, but here's the question. Yeah. Here's the question. So it's the same thing about the atheist marriage and the Catholic marriage, but what the state recognizes as marriage is also different than what the Catholic Church recognizes as
That's
marriage.
Fine.
So
That's fine.
So no, listen to me. So the state there's an official licensed representative of the state there asking you to sign a document saying, did you witness what the state certifies as a marriage? The answer is yes, because the state, you could go to a courthouse and get a marriage in front of a justice, and that would still be a valid marriage in the state. You're not saying the document does not say, did you witness a valid and licit sacrament of marriage in the Catholic Church? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's possible that what they put down is like, oh, what we believe marriage is as defined in subsection D of the BS code, right? It's like, but it's like I'm writing saying that I define a marriage, and it's not like I'm not saying, oh, I agree. This is what the state defines as marriage. That's what happened here. I'm saying like what marriage is objectively outside of you and me is what happened here. Now, the person on the document, the person who wrote the document, the judge, the bride, the groom, they all have a different idea of what marriage is, or they all have the same idea and it's the wrong idea. But like you as a person saying like, I witnessed a marriage. Like that's what you have to do.
No, I just disagree with you, because I think you can hold to the truth of marriage being a sacrament between a man and a woman. You know, like the thing that we believe to be marriage, like we can hold that concept exists. And then we can also hold that there are people that call a civil union recognized by the state that allows certain tax benefits and like the rearing and adoption of children within a society is also called marriage. But we don't have to necessarily say like that those are the same. Like no one's asking you to say that those are the same. You know, that's not the question, but nobody is asking you to redefine your opinion of marriage when they're asking the question, you know?
Sure. I guess it's just, I don't really care what they think they've written, you know?
But you should for something like this, right?
Because a civil recognition of marriage is still important.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why we signed it at the altar. Like there's a reason, you know? It's still an important thing. The civil structure of what a marriage is just as important as the temporal structure of the church. And so like even if, you know, it's like whatever a diocesan chancery officer thinks a bishop is versus what a bishop actually is, it doesn't really matter. It's like words are important. You know, it's like this, I did witness a marriage. I witnessed the marriage of Patrick and Phoebe, right? Like I witnessed that. What you think that means or what I think that means doesn't really matter. It's like I am right. This is what objectively happened. I have a problem. This is me, Patrick, has a problem with writing that on the document. You know,
but nobody's asking you what objectively happened. Nobody's asking you what objectively happened. They're asking you what subjectively happened. And so
No. They are asking what objectively happened, but we have a disagreement of what happened objectively.
Okay.
They want you to confirm that two people agreed to be together for tax benefits unless something else happens in the future. Right?
Yes.
That's what they're
and you can say yes to that because that is what occurred.
Yeah, but if someone asks you to be the best man at a gay wedding, you cannot sign that. Because even though the state, right?
Under this argument,
it's a certificate of marriage.
Okay, I hear your point, but I think there's a difference in kind and not a difference in whatever degree.
Yes. No, I think it's the same. I think it's the same.
No,
thing.
It's not the same. It's not the same because the matter still exists in like this other marriage. There's no matter that exists in the two same.
I'm assuming the other atheist is not a baptized Christian.
No, they're not.
So the first sacramental marriage can occur, but a natural marriage can't occur either. because a baptized person cannot marry an unbaptized person, cannot contract a natural marriage.
You're saying that unbaptized people can't be married?
No, you have to.
Naturally?
If a baptized person wants to marry an unbaptized person, they have to get
Oh, I
permission.
see. I got you. Yeah.
They have to. That has to be dispensed, but they'll only have a natural marriage.
Right.
But so like what the state defines as marriage, right? Like witnessing it. I'm not being asked, did you witness what the state defines as a civil union between blah blah blah? Like I'm being asked, did you witness a marriage? And I won't say yes.
I just disagree with you because when the state says marriage,
this is a fascinating discussion. This is like
when
bread and butter for me.
I know when the state says marriage, they are referring to their own definition. So
that's fine. Yes,
that is exactly what
that's
they are
not
saying.
like, but like that's nominalism, right? It's like, oh, what I mean by marriage is, it's like, but yeah, like they're incorrect.
Yes,
what the state says marriage, but the certificate doesn't say certificate of what the state defines as marriage. It says certificate of marriage.
But it's a state issued certificate with the word marriage on it, which means that it's about the state definition of marriage.
If I write orangutan and I think it means a dog, it doesn't matter what I think. It's to say, did you see an orangutan? I'm going to say no, and they're going to say no because they saw a dog. But what I think they mean is they didn't see an orangutan. You know,
I struggle to follow.
It doesn't matter if I write the document. It doesn't matter what I think the words mean. If I'm trying to communicate them to a person, the person is communicating back to me. I'm saying
exactly.
They're saying, oh, did you see a marriage?
It doesn't matter what you think. It matters. The document is proposing its terms on you, and you're trying to propose your terms on the document, which I recognize you are correct. But I'm saying within the parameters of this document that's given by the state, you can say, yes, I saw what you're asking me that I saw. No, I did not see what I think is the correct version of this, but I saw what you
They're
think
handing you a piece of paper that says certificate of marriage. And you can only read that in the plain text. This is what certificate I am certifying that a marriage took place. And you know objectively what marriage means. You cannot hand it back and say, sure. Now, maybe perhaps your and my are like two set. Perhaps you're correct. Like I think that's fine, but I think that's too much of a loop for me. Right?
Sure.
I'm not comfortable with that. But it's possible. It's possible that there's
the thing that you just said is the best argument that you've made this whole time, because you just claiming over and over again that you're right doesn't really matter. What matters is the plain text of the document and not so much the definitions. And so it's like
it's like this is what the plain text reads. And like I could see like this is the Roman Empire, right? It's like the Roman Empire went around and said, give us your Bibles and your books of prayer, and we're going to burn them. And some bishops did, and they got excommunicated. Some bishops didn't, and they got killed and martyred for it. And other bishops handed like cookbooks to the soldiers because the soldiers were like, hey, we really don't want to like kill you. So can you just like give us holy books? And they said, sure, here you go. And there was a question of, is that complicit? Is that being complicit? And I think
is lying to the Nazis about hiding Jews in your basement a sin?
Right. It's like there's the problem, right? And it's like
this is
there are some people who are clever enough to go, oh yeah, they're underneath my kitchen table. And that is true. They're hiding under the floorboards underneath their kitchen table. But like it plays like a joke, and so like the Nazis leave or whatever. That's like there are people that are quick-witted enough and clever, but there are other people who are just not. And it's like obviously it's better to not give up the people that are being hunted. Right. And so
it's like if it's okay to lie to the Nazis,
go to the wedding.
Right.
And it must be okay to lie all the time.
That's what I mean. It's like you're worried about the perjury, but like only sometimes you're worried about the perjury. You know? Like I can
No, I do think these are different situations. Because I would prefer
souls are at stake either way.
Mm-hmm. I think that they're at my front door and my life is on the line.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
It's just a sin is less a sin. You're less culpable for the sin because you're in immediate harm. And if you're like, they're not here, and you're lying, God's not going to be like, well, you're damned for all of eternity. He's going to be like, yeah, you were staring down the bayonet of some kraut. We can't still use that, can we?
Do you think God is going to call them krauts? Is that
I think he does
use
that.
food-based
God
swords?
was an ally. He was an allied power. And he's
Yes,
currently
indeed.
an ally. He's a straight ally, meaning he's only an ally to the straight.
the straight and narrow path, more like what I'm saying.
Anyway, but no, I think it's a different situation. My problem is perjury.
So do you not think that also because this guy has a relationship with this person and desires to stay in a relationship with him for a long time, do you not also think that might lessen his culpability for attending the wedding as a best man? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you asked me objective hypotheticals, which I'm very emotionally removed from the situation, what I would do.
Yeah.
And that's my answer.
Indeed. I think it's a good question. I think, as you can tell, and I agree with Patrick, to be clear. I think my argument was not very good. But
you're lucky we don't podcast the same place and jump across the studio and throttle you.
No, but it's fun though, because you kept ignoring what I was saying and just trying to say your thing. But
it's great audio content. We gotta do the last one.
Do we? Okay, we gotta do it quick because I'm running out of energy.
Because that was too much. That was too much like debate. We got to have a fun high school.
Yeah, we got to answer a question.
High school dating question. High school dating question. Anonymous questions asker with a fake name. Disquarius O'Keefe. I think that's the fake name.
Okay.
Sorry if I don't explain this clearly. I did the best I could. I have a best friend, Jason. We're both seniors in high school. He's been friends with this girl, Kendra, since freshman year. He always tells me that him and Kendra are just friends, but I knew that was bull. They recently started talking to each other a lot more and realized they wanted to be more than friends. Kendra started coming to Jason's football games, award ceremonies, even went to the mall with her friends while we were there. Jason's mom did not like that they were hanging out too much, even though they only hung out in groups. His mom made him break up with her and never talk to her again. So Jason broke up with Kendra, never talked to her again. Now look at her, not talk to her, not even text her. Now he won't even talk to me about it. As his best friend, what should I do to help him get through this? Should I not say anything? I need some advice. More context. They're both homeschooled groups. They're both in homeschooled group that meets every Friday. Jason's mom allows dating, but only people of the same religion. They're both Catholic. They're both Baptist. I'm Catholic. Yeah. IDK, whether his mom thinks she is a bad influence on him or what, I've talked to Kendra. She seems nice. But now Jason is not allowed to talk to Kendra anymore. And they've been friends for a while. Also, I was at the last fest for Catholic Family Land. I thought Patrick's talk was great. That's where I heard about the crunch. Thank you for thinking my talk was great. I wanted to include that because it made me feel good.
Nice.
Thanks, Disquarius.
I was wondering why these teens were going to the mall, and then it said that they were Baptist homeschoolers, and I was like, oh, that's why they're going to the mall. They've got nowhere else to go. How can you be there for him? Man, if he doesn't want to talk about it, he doesn't want to talk about it. Like you don't have a right. You don't have a right to have a conversation with this guy about something just because you're his friend. Yeah, this is a sad situation. You might be confused, but you might not get to know the answers. You might not get to know why. You just
got to be there for him, man.
You just got to be there for him. He might just want to play NBA 2K23, LeBron James dunking the basketball over Nikola Jokic in the finals of the NBA.com/Anthony Davis. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that might be what he wants to do. Although if Baptist, he's probably not playing video games with black people in it. So he might be doing something different. Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah. My question is, how are you friends? Does Jason's mom allow you to be friends with him? If you're Catholic. And she kicked out a Baptist girl, but you get to hang out with him and you're the enemy. How'd you freak that deal?
Oof. Good for you, man.
That's great. I don't know if any more tips. Just like be his friend. Yeah, you don't need to say anything. Like
just hang out with them, play sports. You guys are seniors in high school and he plays football, so just go lift with him. Spot him a little bit,
Not
just
too close.
Lift and listen to not too close. Listen to loud music. Yeah, just lift the pain away. That's
Yeah,
usually what
you're
helps.
probably being this is gonna sound wrong, but like you're probably being too sensitive about this. Like he probably
Yeah,
doesn't need someone to talk to about it. He probably doesn't need to open up to you. He probably just needs a friend to be the normal. And like you don't have to be overly sensitive. You don't have to be over
yeah.
like bend over backwards for him. Like he just wants a guy
Mhm.
to be a guy with. And like
Wants to hang.
so that's what you should do. So
Yeah. Good question.
all right. Great question. That's the end of the show. And this is it.
High
We're
school's hard. Good news, it
we're
gets
signing
easier.
off now. It's
Dude.
over. This is our last new episode until the new year, except for maybe one that we might do an interview with someone that we've
with
had on the
Owen.
show before. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Owen Cyclops. So we might have a surprise interview that drops. We're not exactly sure when that'll be, but this is the last new episode for a long time. And so if you want to keep hearing about what we're doing, you want to hear about the holidays, you want to hear about the various ins and outs of how we're progressing and making progress on our grand vision to make this the greatest Catholic community on the internet. Patreon.com/The Crunch is the place to be. For a short time only,
$5 a month, you'll get
$5 a
new
month
episodes.
Gets the bonus podcast at the new year. That'll go back up to $10 a month. So get it while you can. We've got 50 hours ish of bonus content on there. So check it out.
So what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
Don't worry, the hospital is closed, but it will be open again soon.
Wee woo.
It's not a creepy closed hospital.
It's just one of those normal closed hospitals.
You ever seen an abandoned hospital?
It's one of the hospitals that the Joker blew up in The Dark Knight.
Dude, in Newcastle, like a block from where I worked, I would take a walk there like every week, like every night, every day after night. Every day after lunch. And it was it was an old hospital. It's abandoned, like early to mid 20th century hospital, you know? And it was like no one had been in it for like decades. I was like, I wanted to go in so bad.
Dude,
probably so many ghosts in there, dude.
It'd be such a cool place to go and get to put rusty needles in our bones and our skin and contract various intravenous diseases. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, I love it. I would do anything. I would do anything to find a little scalpel on there. Maybe a little, maybe a operating chair, something.
Ooh.
A toilet. They got a lot of
Bedpan
stuff over there. Bedpan. Ooh, gotta get.
If you abandon a hospital, do you think people were like, I don't gotta clean this? We're abandoning this hospital later today. Just got a group text about it.
I don't think that it's a collaborated abandonment. Like I think it's over time. They get less and less patients, you know, and then eventually the door's shut for good.
They're just like, the West Wing, don't go in there. We haven't been in there in years.
We don't know who's over there. I'm going to end the program now.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening.
Hospital.
Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we'll see you all on Patreon. Patreon.com/the